Hey everyone, it's John from J&M Taxidermy again. What I have here is a walleye replica. I already set the fins on it. I use a two-part epoxy to hold the fins in place, similar to like a 5-minute epoxy. So after I get them and they're all set and dried, the next thing I do is right where this edge is, there's a little bit of a crack. That's just from a gap from the fin. So we have to fill that. So what I do is I use it's called, it's like a two-part epoxy. It's epoxy sculpt. It kind of looks like this. You take a white and it's like a white and a gray, and then you mix it together equal parts. And then what I do is, I mix it thoroughly, and then along that edge where I have to fill, I can show you. I'm going to work on the tail fin. So you can kind of see the little gap right here, a little bit of an edge. There's a little place where I can get my fingernail right there. You can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the epoxy sculpt and I'm going to fill that in. So change the angle here, and I just basically will roll it and stretch it at the same time. Now I put a lot on because I can always clean that off later. So I'll start here. I already started on this a little bit ago, but sometimes those gaps can be kind of substantial, so that's why I use a little bit more. And then I'll just pinch that off, and then I'll do the same thing up here on this side. Now the next step, what I do is I'll spray it with water, and the water helps it to smooth out, because if you try to run your finger along that, you're just going to pull it up. So I'll just spray it with a little bit of mist, a little bit of water, and then I'll just kind of rub it in with my finger. Sometimes you might want to use gloves when doing this. So now, so now that I've got it rubbed in there, you can see there's quite a bit there. So what I'll do, I got it right here. If you go to like Michael's or even Hobby Lobby, you can get little sculpting tools, little clay sculpting tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the rest of that while smoothing it out. So I just basically, I'll put my finger on the back of it so I have a little bit of pressure, and just like a putty knife when doing drywall mud, I just kind of work it into that seam and work my way around. And as I'm doing that, I'm removing a lot of it, a lot of the excess that I don't want on there. And since it's wet, after I get done smoothing it out and scraping off the excess, I run my finger over it to help smooth it out even more. This is a method that I've been using for a while now. I think it works pretty well. I've seen people do super glue to hold the fins on. I tried that one time. Didn't like it because that fin is barely on there. So I would rather use like a two-part epoxy, and then I just basically will set the fin in place, and using masking tape or something along that line, then I can get it to hold in place to where I want it. And then after that dries, I'd use this other epoxy sculpt and go over it again and just clean up the edges. So that is, I took away all the excess, and now I'm just kind of cleaning it up a little bit more. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then what I like to do after I get all the excess off and I get it smoothed out, I'll take a little shop towel like this and just very lightly dab it and I think that helps to give it some texture. It also helps to prevent like a smooth surface for the paint to kind of run off of. So this is what it looks like after I'm done. Not too much on there. So where these fin rays meet, a lot of the times that's darker anyways, so you won't, so that'll blend in real nice, and you're going to add color to it anyways. So, but yeah, that's how I do it. If you'd like to learn more, obviously comment below and subscribe. I could always use subscribers. So all right, thanks again, bye.